Hi friends, Box Van D here. I'm trying to take out a pocket door on my box truck. I have a lot of health problems, and the door really only is on a side entry. It's very difficult to get in and out. That is my only entrance to the box truck. I can crawl over everything from the driver's seat if I have to, but I couldn't do that on a regular basis. And the back is completely closed off because I have a garage on the back. So this is really the only entryway. And the door really only opens between 14 and at the very most 16 to 18 inches if I really shove it hard, and then it gets jammed up in there. So I can't open the door very far. I have to walk into the truck sideways to get in. And when I try to put things in and out of the truck, I have to squeeze it in this small narrow passageway to get things in. It's very difficult. It's become dangerous for me. The steps, actually there's one step from the floor down, between 14 and 16 inches deep, really long step, and usually that would be the distance of 2 steps. Then the same distance from the bottom of the step down to the ground. So I'm killing myself, tweaking my back, losing my balance, and how many times I've practically fallen flat on my face or lost my balance and almost killed myself anyhow. So it's very dangerous. When Maxie tries to get out of the truck, he'll get his paws down on the bottom finally. It's almost the whole length of his body, and his backside starts to tip over, almost falling out of the truck. He catches his balance. Usually if I have him on the leash going out, I can catch him. Other people have tried to get in and out of this truck. Some of them managed to, but believe me, if you're bigger than 15 inches wide, you're not going to get into this truck and still get up the step. It's almost impossible. I also had an office chair in here on wheels, and the wheels would roll. When the chair would move, it would roll into the step well and tip the chair over, and how many times I almost fell out of the chair into that hole. Believe me, I caught myself just in time and still got kind of tweaked. So it's very dangerous for me. This pocket door has got to come out. I have to have a system for steps, and I don't want my chair to fall in that area that is where this step is, so I need the floor to come all the way to the wall. So there's a lot of process involved in this, and this truck was built for the military. It is a military vehicle, a transport vehicle, and it's built like a tank, and the bolts and the hinges and the rivets and everything that put it together are almost impossible to take out. You can't turn them on. They're old. This is 1997 old vehicle, rusted and things like that with the bolts. You can't break them off. You can't saw them off. You can't cut them off with a cutting tool. Maybe you can grind them off or drill them out. So that's pretty much what we had to do. So I'll show you the process here in a little bit, and I will show you what we're doing here. Here's another thing I never told anybody. It was very dangerous, but I didn't have a choice. The lock on the door didn't work right. I had tried to get somebody to fix it, tried to get the key working, but it wouldn't catch. It was so worn down it would not catch. And no amount of trouble, because it had great big long brass fittings for the lock to go into, and it's worn down so far it wouldn't catch. Anyhow, all that time, well over 3 years, maybe 3.5 years, I never had a lock for the inside of the door. I did put a padlock on the outside of the door. So I've been traveling around all this time with no safety from the inside. Anybody could have come in my rig. So I need security. I need to be able to deadbolt my door. Just a little side note I thought I'd mention now that it's gone. So this is the inside. This door's completely coming out. That wall has to come down, and they'll have to redo the wall. So John brought this heavy piece of oak wood all the way from New Hampshire to build my floor out. To get the wooden wall over the pocket door off, it was painted with layers and layers of paint. So we had to use a magnet, heavy magnet, and to find the screws, and then pinpoint it with a very small, tiny magnet so we can find where the screws were to even get them out. So before we started, if you've seen my wall many times, it had a wooden plywood panel on top of this metal plate. It had insulation between it and wood 2x4 bracing in there, and behind this nothing, just the pocket door itself with the rails, the wheel runners on the top, and just a rail on the bottom. So here we go. So we drilled out all the rivets on this so far, and it's loose. We'll pull it off. I have to take these screws out and bend that. I don't know if we have to get the wood. The wood doesn't want to budge till we get the door out, so we'll see what happens on that. So we had to drill each of these big rivets out of the wall, which were drilled through the metal plate that was there and through the outside of the fiberglass wall. So some of them wouldn't drill out with the drill. We had to grind some of them. Amazing how much work we had to put in to get these out. We even had to use a hammer and a chisel. We killed a bunch of tools with doing this project. Half a dozen drill bits, a grinder tool, a cutting tool. It killed the motors. We wore them out. I wore out my drill bits, everything. The chisel is chipped. So it was an interesting project. Down to the last two. Been working several hours on this, just trying to get these rivets out. There's heavy duty rivets, 1 inch around. They're very heavy. Yeah. Come on, baby. Come loose. That one down there, I bet is what preventing.
Well, it seems pretty tight up here too.
Whoa.
I don't know. See if I put the little chisel in there maybe. Wipe off.
So even after 2 days of hard work trying to get all this rivets and bolts and screws and everything out of it, we found that we cannot take this metal wall down. Where the reason is, it's one piece connected to the step well, to the solid steel step well, And only way we could get that out is to cut all the way across the bottom of this metal wall, all the way, with some kind of a metal cutting tool. We didn't even have the strong enough, powerful enough equipment to do that. And even if we did, it would have been very rough edge. I was hoping to be able to frame this and put in a new wall. So we had to use a cutting tool to get the 2x4s out, which were screwed into the right side and also into the metal casing there. So it was quite a project just to get the 2x4s out. When we got them out, we looked on the side and they're really 1 inch, over an inch wide rivets all the way through that little section off to the right. So this was the next project we had to do. Tired, John?
I'm sweaty. I'm thirsty. I'm not hungry yet, though.
But we got the door out.
Yeah.
And you notice I said we? Well, I helped a little bit.
She did.
Some.
Now we can get that top track thing out and figure out where the top really is. I think it's right where I thought.
Yeah.
I think we take that little dangly piece out and that's our opening.
Alright. So after much trial and error, we still had to cut out the rubber strip that the pocket door sits on down on the bottom, and the bolts wouldn't come out that either. So we had to use a cutting grinder tool to get the bolts out and actually cut the rubber. It was so solid in there to get that out. So once we got the bottom running out, then we ran across a problem on the top. We had to cut out part of the rail that the pocket door hooks to on the top because it would not come out. It's so secured and bolted in there, there's no way to get the rail out. So we dealt with that, and we were finally able to unbolt the door from the rail and then get that out. It finally slid right out to the side. We got the door out, and so excited when I saw John standing out there with that door. Felt good. So in part 3, I'll show you the system we use for steps, and it's a pretty fantastic step system, and also I'll talk about the floor. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the bell so you'll be notified when the next part of it comes out. I appreciate your watching. I appreciate your hitting the thumbs up or like button. I appreciate the time you spend watching this, and if you watch the commercials, I'll make a little bit of money for the commercials. If you would like to support this channel, you can either become a member or you can check out my links in the description below. And we're not done yet, believe me. We still have a lot to do because the door is another issue. So I usually put a video out 1 to 3 a week, depending on how much energy I have and how much content. I also do a live stream on Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Hope you'll join me there. I do prize giveaways and really good content, I think. Sometimes. Anyhow, you'll probably enjoy it. I usually don't go much more than an hour because some live streams get too long. And so I appreciate you coming, sticking around for at least 15 minutes to give me the credit. If you see somebody that looks down and out, or feels discouraged, or doesn't have anybody around to spend time with and feels so lonely, please tell them you love them. Tell them something nice to make them feel better and not so down and so sad. You don't know what that will do for them. People need to know that they're cared about, that they're not invisible. So make sure you tell somebody that you love them today. Thanks.